There are two overriding themes in this place. First, concern with the growing gulf between the political elite and the ordinary taxpayers. Second, a hysterical obsession with man-made global warming. These two themes are intimately linked. The global warming fixation is a classic example of how the political class here is out of touch with the little people who have to pay the bills. While the EU backs the Copenhagen proposals to further the deindustrialisation of the West and the corporate domination of the Third World, a growing majority of ordinary people regard climate change as an elite scam, an excuse to tax and control us and to impose internationalist dogma and global government at the expense of the nation state.
Isn't this really just about the state being able to get its hand in ordinary people's trouser pocket to steal yet more tax from them? Isn't this all about political control? Isn't all this about politics and big business? The whole thing's a sham. This bogus hypothesis, this ridiculous nonsense that man-made CO2 is causing global warming. Enough, please, before we damage irrevocably the global economy.
Mr President. I don't think Godfrey Bloom heard the BNP speaker, but if he had, he would have seen that they have so much in common, as I always suspected. It was almost a carbon copy speech. Now, on polling, we heard something about polling. More than two-thirds of Europeans, in fact, in a recent survey, said that climate change was a very serious issue, and 20% said it was a fairly serious issue. For the UK, that same figure was 51% a very serious issue and 30% a fairly serious issue. That is 81%, and in fact only 10% of Europeans said it was not a serious issue at all. So I think the opinion polls show that people in Europe do care about climate change, they understand, and that is why all mainstream parties in this House are backing the Council and the Commission in Copenhagen, and why we backed the legislative package last year. Last night in the Environment Committee, 55 to 1 MEPs voted to back an ambitious negotiating position of the European Union in Copenhagen. Sometimes in life you see things you never forget, and about 3 years ago myself and Fiona Hall went to northern Kenya, and we went to one of the poorest communities and we met pastoralist farmers there. We met young women, girls, who were being married at ever younger ages in northern Kenya. Why? Because when a young woman gets married in Kenya, in return for her hand in marriage, her father receives cows in payments because the currency is cows. Cows are becoming a rare commodity in northern Kenya, where people, because of climate change, we will never make poverty history unless we tackle climate change, and this House has a duty to respond to that call.